What to do when white goes f3-e4 in the Carlsbad structure. This is also a plan that you can risk running into when you're playing the Caro-Kann exchange variation. Suddenly black go f6 and e5 and try to move you down in the e file. So today you're gonna learn what to do. Basically, we're gonna discuss some concept about the nature of the position as well. So I think this will be a very instructive chapter on the Carlsbad structure. So let's get down to it. We are in 2015. I'm black against Jens Kristiansen, who was a veteran, what was called a senior world champion at some point, and is a grandmaster. And he plays d4, and he likes this system for white. And I had prepared this antidote with my second, Nikos Nitirlis, also a famous author of chess books, playing e4, e5 with black, and d4, d5 with black, and the terrace defense and things like that. He helps a lot of grandmasters. Anyway, this is all the main line in the Carlsbad structure. Queen's Gambit declined, orthodox, and here it comes. White's plan is simply to castle and then go f3, e4, and getting ready to blow black away in the center and on the king side. One thing that is a common rule is black tries to meet f3 with c5. But in this, and especially when you're white in the exchange Caro-Kann, this is what you do. You simply go there, and because f3 weakens e3 and d4 and the black squares, you will usually get counterplay as compensation for this pawn that will be isolated. Okay, this is rook e8 is a normal move. Castle, knight f8, and white can still change plans and go back and play something like rook b1, and try for the minority attack. But with the knight here, it's a bit different. I think the knight is better on this square because it has more influence in the center and can jump here, as we saw in the Pillsbury attack. Okay, f3. And this is basically the move. White is getting ready to play e4. At the moment, he's not completely ready for it because e4 takes. Knight e6 is annoying, and if bishop goes back, knight comes here. So he has to be a little bit wary about the black square. So he starts with king h1. By the way, g6 is not the only move. I think Van Gloed plays something like this with the plan and to go here and c5, and this is of course also a viable option, but I have prepared this system with Nikos, and I like this idea with the g6 just blocking out these guys here, or girls if you like, and knight here, and bishop goes back, and often white will put the bishop here where it supports the center and is ready to swing back to the king side. Notice it's not just because he wants some place to hold the bishop. He was trying not to get any exchange, so it will later join the attack. It's long. Okay, and here comes black's idea. And it looks very anti-positional. And I remember when Nikos first showed me, I said, come on, I'm not going to play that. And then he was very convinced that this was the right idea. So here it comes, b5. Okay, on a sort of a positional ground, I hate the move because of this one and this square, and also it looks terribly anti-positional. Okay, so what's the idea? The idea is you have to, with f3, black's counterplay has to come from this move. This is the move that will bring counterplay. Otherwise, you will not get counterplay and you will be slaughtered on the king side. So you need to get some counterplay in the center. The problem at the moment is this knight here is a monster against c5. White will get access to this square. He will attack this one, and also there is no weak pawn on e3, and sometimes white can just switch plans and go with the g pawn because his position is so stable. So b5 is to first remove the knight and then play c5. That sounds far-fetched, right? So let's see. Okay, a3, preventing b4 at the moment. Bishop b7. I like the idea that after he played the king here, the bishop is... There's a lot of pawns, but as we will see, they will disappear. And this is the kind of things I kind of like. Here also he could play e4, but then I probably just have knight h5 and I will trap his bishop. Oh, he will just lose a pawn on d4, sorry. But in sometimes white black plays knight h5 on e4, getting this square, which is not what white would like. That's also why maybe this constellation here is not the best with f3. If white can get away with having the queen on d1, it's actually better on d1 because sometimes it wants to be on this square. Okay, I think some grandmaster played this against me in a blitz game. Rook 81. The big question is, does the rook belong here or here on this square? It's not completely clear. But here it, of course, just like I like my bishop on his diagonal, he likes his rook on my queen's diagonal. Okay, a5. So black's plan is taking shape. He will play b4 and kicking this knight. And kicking this knight is essential, but also kicking it without losing control over this square. And that's why this knight is very important for black. Queen c1, and that was already a weird move by Jens Kristiansen. I think his plan is to go, is to be able to play e4, and then the queen will swing here and getting ready to attack. It's probably not very likely it will happen. And also on b4 he has knight a4 and is covering this pawn. So it looks like he had a lot of ideas, but basically it's a lost tempo. I think I didn't like the move. Rook c8, and this is getting down to business. We're ready for this. Another idea with the b4 b5 b4 plan is that black will sometimes be able to go here and exchange this one. And exchanging that bishop is of course good for black because all his pawns except the pawn on a5 is on white squares. Okay, here comes the pawn, here comes the pawn, and we are on with the game. And we see that here, this was the idea, looks kind of good for white, but black has c5, blowing the center up and at least equalizing right now. White's dream, of course, was to go something like this, and then this, and just slaughter black's kingside. But it's not gonna happen. Black will just take on d4, and the queen will be hanging, and everything is just a mess. So he decided, okay, I don't have any weaknesses, so maybe I should just do this. And I'm hitting the queen here, so he has to go here. And here I can probably take on e4. I played this move. He played here, and here I probably can take again. I played this move. Played here. We are moving around. This was a mistake, by the way. I think here the position is more or less equal. None of us has really big weaknesses. My king is pretty safe, and I'm always very scared of getting blown away in these kind of positions. So I'm very I really like the system where it has a very low chance of happening. You have a pretty safe king the most of the time. Queen d2 and knight e5, and now black is taking over. This last move was a mistake. Bishop c2, and here I played a very weird move. I don't know why I played this move. I have a lot of good moves. I think just taking here is just a clear advantage for black, actually. So the black has clearly won the opening duel, and this plan with b5, b4 is recommended. Of course, the circumstances have to be right. They have to be right. But in general, I think it's a good plan. And in this main line, it is the right plan. And I've seen that even the top players are starting playing this now. So I think they also watch correspondence games just like Nikos does. Okay, queen c8. By the way, this is the Larsen trick. I like to have the queen on the same color as his king. That sounds far-fetched, but sometimes this gonna come and the queen's gonna come all this way down here. So it's maybe not completely crazy. Okay, rook, and of course black is very active and clearly better here. Take, and he's actually winning material now because it's black to move. And a safe move would be something like bishop f6, but there is actually an even better move, and that is boom, because there's a double attack on this knight here. The problem is I actually had to calculate very far here because he will of course make this intermediate move, attacking the queen, attacking the rook especially. And after bishop d5, best move, he will take, and go here and start to become active. Okay, and this is where I missed the big win. I could have won with bishop e4. I played bishop a8. I was spending a lot of time, and Kristiansen was playing pretty fast, and it was a bit annoying. And I thought, okay, after knight takes f3, I'm just gonna win. It's winning. Come on, old man, just resign. And he of course does not resign. And here I played bishop e4. I didn't play bishop e4, but this would have been very good. I was afraid of this move, getting out of the. Notice that the idea, of course, is this, and this one is lost, and black is 2 pawns up. But what about this move? And the trick is this, and the knight has given away this square. Something like that is very difficult to see. And after this, check here, and bishop d4, and this was all complicated. Attacking the bishop before taking it, so there's no double attack. Rook d5, attacking this one. And take, and here, and after this, black is totally winning. This is what we call a rook with a view. It's kind of a artist project, right? Anyway, this is winning for black, and I should have played this. I played it bishop a8, much more natural move than bishop e4, but actually I needed the knight to get on a bad square where it could not enter the game, because after this move, white became very active, attacking. Oops, that was a little bit far here. And okay, I'm defending, but he's still getting very active. And notice that he's got the c file under control now, and that was not the case after bishop e4. And also I need to activate my rook, and he's of course attacking the knight who's defending this pawn. So I got the bishop out to here, but his position is extremely active. So the table has more or less turned. Of course, black is a pawn up and should be better, but here I made the mistake. Bishop d8, just trying to get ready for bishop b6 maybe. And after this, or rook c7, which was also the plan. The problem is he has this strong move, and he's just exchanging everything. And the problem is this pawn now. This pawn that made him a lot of trouble in the earlier phases of the game is now a weakness. So after a few more moves like this, the problem with the knight is this knight is sort of dominated by this bishop. And I'm very afraid that because his king is coming very fast, so I have to get my king going very fast as well. And I just simply have to give the pawn up, because if he gets the b pawn, I might lose. And here, well, and we agreed a draw. It is a draw. There's nothing to do. I can't. I have to keep his king out of the queen side, and my pawns are on the wrong square on the king side, and so on. So it's a clear draw, and it's equal. But this system, just g6, knight e6, and b5, and ready for b4. Sometimes the bishop actually goes to d7 and not b7. It depends a little bit, because it can annoy a knight on a4. But you will look into this at a game. But this is a system for black against f3-e4, and white is not so happy about this system anymore due to this. So that's a good tip for you. Thank you for watching, and remember to watch the other episodes of the Carlsbad structure and become a real expert, right? Thank you.